can tell and judge the wealth of a nation by its quality of water and its ability to attract rain. Tonight, I believe that Dr. Emoto's water crystals will speak to each one of you. Each picture is worth 1,000 words. The water crystals are worth their weight in gold. But when are we going to understand that water is our gold? For the first time ever, water is showing us her hidden face, her unfathomable beauty, but also her pain. Water is also showing us our own truth. It is not an accident that the UN made this the International Decade for the Action of Water, or that the new planetoid they just discovered is named Sedna, after the goddess of the sea, or that the many of us who are here, who witnessed the great destruction of 9/11, are here tonight to bear witness to the resurrection of life and a new world through water. Wouldn't it be incredible that out of the ashes of Ground Zero that we built of the Garden of Eden for the renewal of the entire earth and for the spiritual development of mankind in New York City? It is no coincidence that we are entering the age of Aquarius. Aquarius comes as the water bearer. She is the revealer of secrets, the bringer of light and truth, peace and harmony. Are we strong enough to give up our anger, our fears, and our negative thinking, to give these gifts to our children? Tonight, rivers, lakes, oceans, all over the earth are fighting for their very survival. Water must reveal to us her long-held secrets if we are to heal her and to heal ourselves. But she is showing us not only her crystal face tonight, but unveils the living fire that is at the core of every pure drop of water. If you look closely at Dr. Emoto's water crystals, you will see that when water is alive, it forms sacred geometry, a perfect six-sided hexagonal shape at its core. Inside this hexagon, two tetrahedrons come together, and they unite in perfect harmony, perfect balance, and perfect love. This is known as living water, revealed to us in the Bible and ancient texts. Living water is made up of living stars, known as star tetrahedrons, or the Star of David. At water's core is the living Merkaba of light. If you remember nothing else that I say tonight, then from our great mother's heart, please remember this. When it rains or snows, stars are falling from heaven to earth. That we, as the children of earth, have been given a divine birthright. We are born of water, born of the rainbow. We are seeded with billions of drops of living water, liquid light. We are living stars here on earth. In order to create those living stars, we have to choose love. Whenever we make that choice, an alchemical moment happens and the whole world changes. This is the law of love. This is the law of life. So in closing, our great mother asks one thing of each one of you tonight: to return to the rivers, the forests, the seas of our world, and to love them. To go out and cast your love and your stars throughout our broken world. From darkness, create light. Open your hearts to the dying waters and the children of our world. Become a river of tears. Weep for what we have forgotten. Weep for what we have done to ourselves. Weep for what we have done to Mother Earth. Remember the worth of water, that love and water are the unifying forces in all the world. Remember tomorrow on Mother's Day to honor your own mother and to love Mother Earth. It says in the Bible, the keys to the kingdom are within. The key to healing this world has always lived inside of you, inside of me, inside our hearts. May God bless America from sea to shining sea. Kadosh, 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 Adonai Sebaot. Thank you.
Was invited by Dr. Emoto when he met him in Flagstaff and felt he had to be here in New York to deliver his message. He's the founder of Black Mesa Trust, which is an organization formed to preserve and honor the land of the mesas of the Southwest. The They're dedicated to traditional water ethics and that have sustained the people for millennium. The lessons of traditional knowledge combined with Western science will create a permanent ability to have water and have us nourished by water for the coming generations. He's a Hopi elder. He's a keeper of the prophecies. He's here to speak to us about environmental and spiritual aspects of the Hopi's knowledge of water. His name is Vernon Masayava. Thank you, Vernon, for being here. Okay here?
Lomatat kinaya itambio. Glad to be here. I was asked to be a special guest of Mr. Masaru Emoto and didn't want to reject the honor, so I jumped on a jet plane, and thanks to modern technology, I'm here, tired and sleepy, but happy to be here. Thank you, John, for the nice music. He's a funny guy, huh? But sometimes he gets lost and confused. He needs an Indian guide. Yes, my name is Vernon. Was given to me when I was 8 years old by a school teacher. We were required to go to school. And so they lined us up, and as we were going into the classroom, first graders, 8-year-olds, they would say, the first boy would be Abel, second would be Bradley, and so forth, Charlie. And I was kind of towards the last, so you'll be Vernon. Also, it's interesting, but the first thing they taught us was a poem. I remember that. It says something to the effect, rain, 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 go away. Come some other time. And we were so proud to learn it. That was the first time we learned English, and we were reciting it in our homes, and we got scolded rather harshly. Said, you never say that. You're always praying for rain here. Don't ever say rain, go away. I speak from my heart. I'm a grandfather. I'm not a prophet. I'm not a healer. I'm not a medicine man. I'm not a holy man. I'm just a crazy coyote. I'm glad to be one. What I want to do, I feel very strongly about a song that is sung in the kivas when the men gather. And it says, people all over the world, people, bring your thoughts, bring your hearts together, become one, and the rain, people, will come from all directions. Quy nhà cơ ta bằng cơ biểu ta ya biểu hồ bà ô ma tư bư ma bèo yo kỳ na ya ni. From the west they'll come, from the south, from the east. They will come from the north. You will see us in the distance like wings of a giant eagle, bringing rain to your fields. Pai nữ yan e wai ni kyang ta ang va e hui o ve ta ka o ma. Look above, it's just me, a lonely cloud sitting above your field. Bel tai ta I kwa chi mui. Look up, my friend. Look up, my friends. It's just me. The Hopi say we come from water. We are water people, all of us, and we will return to water. So the cloud that's up there is somebody that we used to run across at Starbucks. Never went away, transformed. There's no such thing as death. There's no such thing as heaven in the sky somewhere. It's here. We can make it heaven or hell. So it's all up to us. And that's basically the message of water. We are water people. Hopis are farmers in a waterless world. We have our commandments inscribed in stone, like the Jewish people. I went there, spent 7 days with them. And I told them when I was going home, I said, you know, we have the same beliefs, the 10 Commandments. Thou shalt not do this and thou shalt not do that. We have the 11th one. Thou shalt not waste water. And I think that ought to be inscribed in the stone tablets. We are water. What you do to water, you do to yourself. When I heard the gentleman say, every child somewhere dies every 8 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Somebody died. On my part of the country, on Black Mesa, Duwanasabi, the center of the earth as we call it, the world's largest mining company is pumping water as we sit. 50 gallons with each breath you take. Over 3 million gallons a day from a desert country that gets less than 10 inches of rain. A year in a good year. Water gone forever. Is doing it since 1970. They're tearing up the waters, the hidden waters. They're killing our hidden waters. We allowed it, and for that we have to be reprimanded, is what the Hopi say. And so what we're hoping to do is lessen the severity of the punishment that we all have to go through as Hopis because we broke a covenant. And that's what Black Mesa Trust is trying to do at this point. It's trying to put a stop to this abuse of our water. All of us must understand that water is power, water is energy. It has the power to heal. It also has the power to destroy. It's up to us how we want to deal with water and react to water. And so I'm very honored to share these few words with you. And hope all of you return safely back to your homes. And certainly for Mr. Emoto, my friend, I've learned a lot from you. And for that, I'm very, very honored. Thanks for inviting me to be here.
I'm getting really pretty lousy sound.
Can I just make an announcement? That was Vernon Masayava, and if you look up Black Mesa Trust on the internet, you can find out how to get in touch with him and help work with all the great things he's doing. Actually, there's a donation basket in the back for people who want to contribute to the trust. Our next speaker is a scientist, he's a linguist, he's a mystic, he's someone who's been involved in creating the bridge between consciousness and science. 30 years ago, he had a transcendent experience where he was shown the other levels of consciousness and dimensions, and he brought that knowledge back to share with the world. It's called the Keys of Enoch, and in those keys there are levels and levels of understanding that we're still interpreting about how to live as a functional, multi-dimensional planet, which we're moving into in this age of water, of the water bearers. He's a great scholar as well. His name is Dr. James Hurtak, and thank you for being here tonight. Dr. Hurtak.
In the name of the living waters, may the divine peace be with us in the vibrations of Chak. He was the keeper of the waters. In the name of the divine mother who is the provider of the waters. In the name of all of the great teachers who are the living waters that bring together the water drop and the teardrop and the blood drop as one sign of a living covenant. May we be blessed. A little over 30 years ago, I had the opportunity to work extensively with the late Dr. Andre Puhari, paraphysicist par excellence, who, as many of you know, was responsible for the scientific validation of the tetrahedral nature of the water drop and areas of paraphysical communication through water crystalline research, as well as with the late Dr. Marcel Vogel from IBM, who showed the scientific community the power of memory in crystals, as well as through the electron microscope, the beauty of the inner world of crystals and communication with the mind of plants and animals, especially through his work with the vibrations of crystal. This work has been carried on to the present time, and tonight we're going to show a brief film excerpt of some of the work that is going on. Yes, even the work with Julian Lennon, the son of John Lennon, who has lent his musical talent to bring out the voice patterns of the dolphins and the whales who are telling the people of the world to wake up and to understand that this is an experience that we must rebalance. And so we begin by going back thousands of years ago to our indigenous brothers and sisters. This is an interesting petroglyph from the region of Nahama River near Troy, Kansas, where anthropologists found this interesting star pattern, which is very important. It only symbolizes a bit of the vast folklore that goes back thousands of years ago in all of the great cultures, from Egypt to China to Japan. This is important because it shows the connection with the star people, we are told by anthropologists, and the realization that we are star people living in an ocean of water, making a path of flow upon a world of flux. We come out of the vibrations of the star. We are an embodiment of star energy. We are a walking star. Now, does this come from the power of the mind, from consciousness? Certainly, but it also comes, according to some scholars and researchers, from the inner nature of sacred geometry And so this story is one of the history of sacred geometry, not only within the world, cultures, but also within the body. For deeply embedded within us, we have what is called the 6 helicase proteins that form a hexamer motor in the splitting of the helical threads. We have the coding and decoding mechanism of human DNA. And if you look at this very carefully, you will see the star pattern. You will see the living star system that Dr. Emoto has exemplified so beautifully in his study of the water vibration and what consciousness does. And so we are, in a sense, in a sea of sacred geometries. Even on the most fundamental level, the coding of the thread of life is through the sacred star. We see this also in the sacred symbol of the tree of life, which we find in the very first chapters of Genesis. The very first psalm in the book of Psalms, that we are like a tree planted by the living water, is also at the closure of the Christian New Testament, the concept of the tree. And if you look very carefully in the matrix, the center, we see the hexamer, we see at the top, the crown, the tetrahedral formation that brings together the wisdom and understanding. With this triad of knowledge, we activate the inner blueprints. We process the interesting but important divine knowledge that links us with all living nature. And thus, from the foundations in the kingdom of mankind, there is victory, there is glory, there is beauty in the building of a new body, a new creation. This is the ongoing co-creation with one of the oldest symbols embedded within the great spiritual and religious traditions of our planet. We find it in Ecuador and Peru. We find it in other parts of the jungles of Brazil and Central Africa. We even find it, as we see here, within the platinum crystal, magnified 750,000 times by the late Dr. Erwin Mueller, who I had the privilege of working with. We see here over 100,000 facets, and in this, as you follow the laser, you will see the same geometry of the tree of life that is laid out. The same vibratory matrix is there. So from the macro universe to the micro universe, there within the crystal nature itself is the living nature of the tree of life. There is no death. It is simply the ongoing vibratory nature of the living consciousness that makes us all part of this universal beingness. Another sacred geometry that has come down is the vesicus Pisces, which means really the bladder of the fish. As it is opened up, it forms what mathematicians call the square root of 3. It is the sacred angle for the arch. It is also connected with the power of creativity. It is connected with the chalice, and also with the womb of the divine feminine. In fact, it is part of the hidden symbol in the Da Vinci Code. This very interesting book that has come out has recaptured the lost science of the divine feminine that is there as the balance between the water drop, the sacred geometric form, and the sacred water of life. We see this in a unique way through what NASA has been pioneering through the Hubble Space Telescope. The Wide Field Planetary Camera number 2 has captured in outer space the reality of vesicus Pisces, the same geometric form. Supernova 1987A shows the beauty of the rings. So whether we are here or 6 parsecs off in space, we realize we are as much in space as space is within us. We realize that life is a warp and a weave of these living geometries. And in the Sufi Islamic tradition, we also have this in the unique embroidered nature of the divine name of God, with the 4 guardian angels of the heavens, balancing the upper universe and the inner universe, balancing, as it were, life through sacred breath and how we project our thought forms into reality. And so with this as a background, I would like to go now to our first film experience, Pathways to Light. The music, if we can have the music, is that of the German composer Peter Vogler. Breathe deeply within. See the garment of light. Feel the explosions of the inner mind's eye opening up to all the patterns of the great world religions linked as the sacred helix brings them together from the Sri Yantra to the Mogan David. The inner helix opens up, and we see each of the sacred religions like the chakras of the human body. We feel the vibrations of the inner outer spiral connect us with the civilizations and the micro kingdoms that live within us, and the macro kingdoms of a breathing universe that is the she. And as we see the beauty of this universe cascade through our body, we feel the garment of Joseph's coat of many colors. It is a new garment that we have discovered within ourselves. The sacred geometries, the sacred hexagons and octagons, all open within our mind the linkage we have with the universal beingness. And thus a link is forged between the infinite mind, the infinite way, and the infinite specieshood. And the vibrations of Elohim are heard by the singers of the Godhead. In the roar of the universe, the sounds of the Divine Mother and the Earth Mother come together within our heartbeat. The wedding garment is put on, what the prophets call the garment of the Shekinah glory. And we are ready to take our place within the family of the nations upon the earth and in the heavens. The divine Hashem is with us. And the sacred dimensions of the universe are ready for us to open up the book of life with the vibratory forms embedded within us, the sacred book of life. We go now to the second series of documents. A noted French scientist, Jean-Pierre Luminet, came across the dodecahedral system, and he and his colleagues, publishing in Nature magazine last October 2003, have postulated that this is the central geometry for the physical universe. This is a very interesting geometry of 12 pentagonal faces. It is the most exquisite form, yet found to be the sustaining sacred geometry of the way the universe unfolds itself, works and expresses itself. In 1973, I had this higher consciousness experience, and I was shown that the dodecahedral system, as mentioned in the Keys of Enoch, with the pentagonal form, gives us the nature of the Merkaba, the vehicle through which we experience the body as a biotransducer, or an energy field, not only for the waters of life, for our physical form, but also for the cosmic waters of consciousness that flow through. And at the top of the vehicle form, we see a capstone with the biohelix of energy coming through. Years ago, Dr. Puharich and I had several very powerful experiences where light beams appeared to us while we were working with crystals for communication and for peace in the world. And over the head of one of the beings of light, there was this capstone with the superhelic vibration. I submit this as one of the sacred forms of how we will link with the ultra-terrestrial dimension of universal intelligence. The living water, thus, is captured by the Tibetans, captured by the cultures of the East, represents the whole matrix of evolution for the 5 stages of growth, for the 5 bodies, what is called the color chakra, the opening to the celestial gates through the proper balance of earth, water, fire, air, and ether, or what I would call the electromagnetic body, the epikinetic body of musical vibrations, the echo body of many plus and minus relativities, the body of bioluminescence within, and the body of superluminal light without. As these five come together, we become the temple of the living. We become the temple of understanding. And at that moment, the capstone above our heads takes on form, takes on reality, and explodes. With your permission, we go now to our second film document called The Light Body. This is our new film that we've been working with. The film that you just saw an excerpt of will be available in July through the Academy's website, academyforfuturescience.org. It is part of an ongoing series of films that go with sacred teachings, environmental science, and of course, with the great work of Dr. Emoto. Let us continue to take the high ground, to be water keepers. This is our mission.
Thank you, Dr. Hurtak. With that, you can really see that we're on the epoch of a new age, something that combines spirit and science and technology. We're going to take a short break, and then we'll have Dr. Emoto after the break. There's some food in the back.